Dominic Romano, managing partner with Romano Law, and Matthew Larosiere. He's a senior contributor with Young Voices and a gun rights policy writer. Dominic, let's start with you. A little bit envious of what New Zealand has been able to do on the Democratic side? Yeah,
very much so. Sensible gun legislation. Yeah, I think every American should be envious of smart gun laws.
And Matthew, is it a problem perhaps in the United States that, in fact, we do have small states and senators who are essentially able to gum up progress on gun legislation in the Senate? I mean, I know even Republicans support some common sense gun control.
Yeah, you're using a lot of terms, or I'm really unsure what the definitions are, including when you said there were 62 mass shootings, which I'm sure, according, if you ask almost anyone, that's just not the case. Those numbers include things like a single bullet going through a parking lot where no one is hit. I think we have plenty of common sense gun law in this country.
The definition is where there are more than 4 people who are shot.
That's right. There have been 2,000 such shootings, 2,000 since Sandy Hook. And if you look at the stats in states that have tighter gun laws,
and how many of those are gang-related?
They're much fewer. Look, you can try to deflect, but the issue is in states where there are tougher gun laws, there are a lot fewer gun-related fatalities across the board. Fewer police officers being shot,
well, that's
fewer children being killed.
If you remove the state of Louisiana,
if you look at the facts, the facts are there. There's no disputing the facts. If you own a firearm, if you have access to a firearm, you're 3 times more likely to commit suicide. That alone contributes to gun violence.
Matthew, what's the advantage of a semi-automatic weapon? Why should that be legal?
Semi-automatic is the single most effective tool for self-defense because it is lightweight, it is repeatable, it can be aimed by people who have poor training. And when you see heroic actions like Mian Naim and Abdul Aziz in the mosque shootings, men who did everything they could to try to stop the violence, the last thing any humane person should want to do is limit the options of those people to defend themselves and the innocents.
Matthew, why would you need an AR-15? Why would you need a semi-automatic?
I can tell you exactly why.
What army are you defending against?
I was expecting that question.
The fact is, you know how much it costs to buy one? It costs about as much as a MacBook. It's $1,500.
I know exactly how much it costs.
In the U.S., you can get a firearm for $200, as much as a Chromebook. Yeah. It's absolutely ridiculous. Okay. You're 6 times more likely to die of gun violence per capita in the U.S. than you are in Germany. 16 times as much in Germany.
Are you more likely to die of a drowning if you have a pool?
You know what? If you're a child, you've got in the United States.
Let me answer your question.
Matthew, let me answer your question. Look, you asked me about drowning, okay? If you're a child in the U.S., you have you're 2 times as likely to die from a firearm than you are suffocation or drowning. And it's the second leading cause among children. We're talking about people between the ages of 5 and 18.
So let me answer your honest question, which is why do you need an AR-15? The reason that an average person would need an AR-15 is because they are not planning to commit a massive crime like this. Somebody who is planning to go in and do a mass shooting, just like the Parkland shooter did, was able to bring spare magazines, and he used 10-round magazines. Okay, that's the type of thing that I'm sure people like you often support, limiting to 10 rounds. When you are not planning on getting involved in a situation, what incentive do you have to bring spare magazines?
Matthew,
that is the reason why average citizens might want them. That's absolutely sensible. If you are not intending to get into a conflict, why would you bring spare magazines?
Look, the general population should not have semi-automatic assault weapons. In fact, if you look at the stats in states that have tougher gun laws, there are not only fewer gun fatalities, but fewer police officers being shot and killed. So if you were right, if this were safer, the stats would be the opposite of the reality, right?
It goes the opposite direction. And the causal variable is so small that it's almost insignificant. And I've written extensively and researched extensively. Unfortunately, I wish there are not easy answers to the violence problem in this country.
So Matthew, when law enforcement says it is easy, hold on a second, Matthew. When law enforcement says that it is easy and these weapons should be banned, you think that they're wrong?
You think you know better than law enforcement what is the safety for law enforcement officials. So
do you think marijuana should be illegal for people who just want to be in their homes and use it? Absolutely. I don't care who says it. If you want to limit the right of a law-abiding person to defend themselves, if you want to put more people in the situation, create more victims like there were in New Zealand, I mean, that is on your conscience. I do not think it is humane or moral to limit the options to defend yourself.
The United States has the most liberal gun policy of all developed nations, and it stands as the leader in these types of fatalities. So the fact speaks for them.
When you include suicides and other dishonest things, yes. When you account for everything else,
all you have to do is look at mass shootings. But anyway, we got to leave it there. Matthew Larosiere and Dominic Romano.